library of lost words. The old library loomed on the hill, a sentinel of whispers and forgotten lore. Its ivy-choked facade held secrets older than the trees that surrounded it, secrets some said were best left undisturbed. Amelia, driven by a thirst for knowledge and a yearning for escape, ignored the warnings. As a linguistics student researching dying languages, the library's collection of ancient tongues was an irresistible siren song. The air around the library was heavy, charged with an unsettling stillness. As Amelia crossed the threshold, the silence deepened, swallowing even the creak of the heavy oak door. Dust motes danced in the dim shafts of sunlight, illuminating towering shelves that stretched into the gloom. Cobwebs draped the portraits of long-dead scholars, their eyes seemingly following Amelia's every step. An old librarian, his face etched with the passage of countless stories, emerged from the shadows. His voice, dry as ancient parchment, welcomed her, caution masked behind a veil of professional courtesies. He warned her of restricted sections, sealed for their own good, and whispered tales of scholars who ventured too deep, never to be seen again. Undeterred, Amelia delved into the library's forbidden heart. The books on these shelves were bound in strange leathers, etched with symbols that defied translation. Their pages held languages that had faded from the mouths of men, each word a cryptic echo of a lost civilization. As the days turned into weeks, Amelia became consumed by the library's whispers. Each night, she dreamt of forgotten tongues, voices rising from the depths of time, beckoning her closer. Sleep became a fragile refuge, haunted by visions of faces twisted in silent screams, their pleas etched in forgotten symbols. One night, a book unlike any other called to her. Its cover, smooth as obsidian, was devoid of markings, yet pulsated with an unnerving warmth. As she held it, a wave of vertigo washed over her, and she was yanked into a swirling vortex of words. She found herself in a world cloaked in twilight, where monstrous creatures spoke in languages older than the stars. They beckoned her, their voices a discordant symphony of forgotten tongues. Fear clawed at her, but the pull of the words was irresistible. She awoke the next morning, covered in sweat, a strange book clutched in her hands. Words bloomed on its pages, written in the same symbols from her dreams. As she deciphered them, a horrifying realization dawned. The book was a grimoire, a gateway to the world she had glimpsed, a world hungry for words and fueled by forgotten voices. Panic gnawed at her, but curiosity, twisted by madness, held her captive. She continued reading, translating the chilling rituals, their purpose clear, to open the very portal she had witnessed. The cost was a sacrifice, a voice to feed the hungry entity on the other side. The night of the ritual arrived. Madness danced in Amelia's eyes as she chanted the dark words, the library echoing with the guttural rasp of forgotten tongues. The book pulsed with unholy light, and the air shimmered, threatening to tear open. Suddenly, a hand clamped over her mouth. The librarian, his face contorted in fury, ripped the book away. He cursed her, his voice raspy with age and power, revealing the library's true purpose: to keep this portal sealed, to silence the lost voices. The library trembled as the entity from the other side roared in frustration. With a final desperate act, the librarian hurled the book into the fireplace. Flames erupted, consuming the grimoire and banishing the creature's presence. As the flames died down, the library fell silent. The librarian collapsed, drained by his effort. He looked at Amelia, his eyes filled with weariness and sorrow. "You almost doomed us all," he rasped, his voice barely a whisper. Amelia, shaken and humbled, vowed to use her knowledge to learn, not to unleash. The library became her prison and her salvation. She spent the rest of her days deciphering its secrets, not to open portals, but to understand the voices lost to time. Their stories a stark reminder of the dangers of unearthing forbidden knowledge. The library still stands on the hill, a silent sentinel, its secrets whispering to the wind. Some say the entity still stirs, waiting for another to succumb to its siren song. Others claim that the librarian's spirit guards the portal, forever vigilant. But one thing is certain: the true horror of the library lies not in the monsters it holds, but in the seductive whispers of lost words, their power to lure even the most well-meaning into madness, reminding us that some stories are best left untold.